1989, a man wandered through a flea market in Pennsylvania. He bought an old dusty painting for $4. He didn't want the art. He just liked the frame. So when he got home, he took the painting apart and this folded sheet of paper fell out from behind the canvas. Experts later confirmed that it was one of the original first printings of the Declaration of Independence from 1776. 2 years later, it sold for $2.4 million. This guy thought that he was buying a cheap frame, but he was actually holding a treasure. And so that story, it raises a question all of us have to answer in life. What am I looking for? Because sometimes the greatest gifts God places in front of us, they don't look impressive at first glance. Sometimes we stumble into something far more valuable than we ever expected. Well, where we'll be today, Jesus tells two very short parables in Matthew 13. They speak directly to this question. There was one man he wasn't looking for anything. He just happened to find treasure. And the other man, he was searching, and he finally found what he'd been looking for that entire time. So if you have your Bibles, turn to Matthew chapter 13, down in verse 44. Matthew 13, verse 44, notice what it says. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then in his joy, he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls, who on finding one pearl of great value, went and sold all that he had, and he bought it. So here in the first section, the first thing I want you to notice is I gave you a Christmas gift. I filled in the first blank for you. We're going to notice the unexpected gift. Notice the unexpected gift. So this is telling us about the kingdom of heaven. It's like this treasure that's hidden in a field. And when this guy finds it, he hid the treasure, and in his joy, he went and he sold everything that he had, and he bought that very field. He's finding this completely unexpected gift. Within that, the second thing I want you to recognize is this, is that there's joy in discovery. There's joy in discovery. So right there, again, in verse 44, it tells us that the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in the field, which a man found and covered up. Then in his joy, he goes. So he's just wandering through this field. He comes across this treasure. And it brings him this incredible joy, as I would imagine all of us would feel if we found a buried treasure. When we're following after Jesus, one of the greatest gifts that we have is the gift of discovery. There's some of you in this room today that you weren't looking for Jesus when he found you. You stumbled upon him, and there he was. And he changed your life. But the joy of that discovery, it doesn't stop there. The joy of discovery, of following after Jesus, is something that unfolds every single day. It's discovering who he is and understanding who he is more and more every day. It's discovering more of who he made you to be more and more every single day. One of the greatest joys of our lives is the discovery of finding who Jesus is, of growing in that knowledge and understanding of who Jesus is, and understanding who I am within that. That's incredible. That's a lifetime that we get this joy of discovery. There's something within us that wants to discover. That's why there's movie after movie of what? Like treasure hunts, right? Goonies, don't watch it. 80s were wild, man. The movies in the 80s is PG, but not anymore. Holy cow. But if it's on TBS, you can watch it. What do? They're just finding this treasures, movie after movie after movie after movie of buried treasures. Something within us that wants to discover. There's something built within us. And the reality is this, is we were built and born to discover who God is, who Jesus is, and who I am within it. And so it unfolds day in and day out. So we understand these things. Well, the second thing I want you to understand is the joy in the cost. The joy in the cost. There in verse 44, we saw this guy do. He finds a treasure, he covers it up, and then he goes and he sells everything that he has just to buy that field in his joy. He said, I found this treasure. He covers it up. In his joy, he goes and sells everything that he has to go back and buy this field where he knows that treasure is. Again, so often in our relationship with Jesus and following after Jesus, our sacrifice that we have to make or anything that we have to do as far as serving him is out of this place of like, well, I just got to do it because it's what I'm supposed to do. How difficult on me it is. And it's out of this place of obligation. And I don't know about you, I hate an obligation. I hate obligation. But when I understand the joy of what I have, it changes something from obligation to that place of joy. It's something good. And so we understand that the joy and the cost. What have I received? What have I received in Christ? Who am I in him? How does that change me? When I begin to unfold and discover all of these things, and I'm out and I'm on this hunt, this discovery, that by the way, he doesn't give us some treasure map where X marks the spot. He goes with us. He invites us on this journey to go with him, to uncover and to discover all that he is and all that we are within it. And when we understand that, whatever we have to give up to go on that becomes worth it. But if we're honest, many of us aren't on much of a journey because we don't really know what we have in him. So we rest in obligation. We just got to. I got to do it because it's just what I'm supposed to do. So he's this for many of you, you weren't looking, and he was this unexpected gift. But if you're not growing in a consistent knowledge, understanding of who he is, and we'll get to that in a minute, then that relationship, that discovery is going to get boring real fast. And then we just live in obligation. I got to do this, and I got to do that. I don't want to live in obligation. And you weren't designed for obligation. You were designed for discovery. Well, the second thing I want you to notice is this. I want you to notice the search for the gift. Notice the search for the gift. There in verses 45 through 46, again, what do we see? Jesus tells this story, and he compares the kingdom of heaven. He's like this merchant in search of fine pearls. And he finds one pearl of great value. Now, notice he didn't say he just finds one pearl. He says he finds one pearl of great value. And when he finds this pearl of great value, what did he do? He went and he sold everything that he had to buy it. To buy it. So again, get in your mind, a merchant who is always searching for fine pearls. He knows what he's looking for. And he knows something of great value when he finds it. So when he sees this one pearl of great value, what's he do immediately? He knows, I know what this is. He sells everything he has, and he goes and he buys it. There are many of you in this room today that in your life, on your journey, you were searching for meaning and purpose. Why am I here? And on that journey, you ran into Jesus and you realized this is what I've been looking for. But if we're honest again, if we're not careful, even when we find that, if we don't cultivate it, it will begin to grow cold. So the second thing I want you to recognize is this. There's joy in the value. There's joy in the value. And so just understanding what I have changes how I view it. It changes how I feel about it. But value is not rooted in something new. That's what we often do. In our search for fulfillment, We keep trying new and different things. I bought this house. It was new and now it's old. So what do? I sell it to buy a different new one. I bought this car. It was new. It became old. What do? I sell it for something new. Do this with experiences. Do this with things we tried. Job. I had this job. I loved it. Whatever. I quit it. Moved on to something new. Because we keep trying to find value in all the wrong places. We try to find our fulfillment in all the wrong places. Now listen, don't hear me say, you shouldn't love your home, you shouldn't love your car, you shouldn't love your job. We've been in that road before. What I am telling you is, if you're trying to find your value in that rather than through that, then you're looking through the wrong lens. And so what we understand is, how do we find the value? We understand what it is. In my office right now is a little bitty stuffed animal of Pluto, the dog, not the planet. And this little dog couldn't have cost more than $1, okay? It's not even like a nice one. It's just Pluto. This little Pluto that's in nobody else in this room would be worth anything more than $1, holds incredible value to me. Why? It was the last gift that my grandfather bought my son Rylan before he passed away. My son Rylan was even too young to know it. And so I hold this thing. And one day I'll give it to Rylan, but not yet. Why? He doesn't know the value of it, right? He's not in here. And it sits in my office. And I've kept it with me. I don't even keep it in my house. Why? Somebody's going to find it and wander off of Pluto. They're untrustworthy. And so I keep it on my, and to me, it's this thing of great value. It means the world to me. Why? Because of who it came from and where it came from. It changes what it is. Same thing with Jesus. He loses his value in our eyes when he sets into obligation, or when we quit cultivating that relationship, or when we just forget who he is. And so we have to find the joy and the value just knowing what we have. Just knowing who he is, just knowing who he created me to be, and just knowing that I get to live that out, and even coming to the understanding that I get to live out being me for all of eternity. Why? Because of him. It changes the value of who he is. And when he's valuable to us, the joy comes with it. Well, the last thing I want you to see is that there's joy in the reward. There's joy in the reward. And so again, he gets that fine, great pearl, right? That pearl of great value. He obtains it, and he's got this thing in his hands. It's real, it's tangible, it's true, it's right there. And he can point everybody to, look at this pearl that I have. And he's proud of it. Can you imagine, to go back for a second, the guy that found that treasure? That's a story. I'm a story guy. I love to tell stories. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love to hear stories. And so could you imagine if you're wandering through a field and you wander into a buried treasure that changes your entire life? Could you imagine if you have this pearl of great value? I don't even know what that means. That seems wild to me. It's got to be wildly impressive. This guy's probably got this pearl, and he shows everybody that comes to his house. It's probably on his coffee table or anything. I don't know. It's a piece of conversation. Look at my great pearl. I don't know. I'd have the treasure box. I put the treasure stuff in the bank, but I keep the box. Look at this box. People are like, what's that box? I'm glad you asked me about the box. And my wife would roll her eyes at me because she says I tell my stories too much. But here's the truth. It's just she's been with me for a long time, and she's heard them. She's lived them with me. I can't make up new stories. That's against the rules. And so she rolls her eyes, like, gonna tell a story again? Yes, I'm gonna tell a story again. They've never heard it. It's a good story. It'd be the same thing with the treasure. I got this treasure box. She'd be sick of me telling it, but she'd be dressed in really nice stuff, have a really nice house, so she'd get over it. And I got this treasure box. I wouldn't be able to wait to tell people this story, right? It's incredible. About the pearl of great value. It's incredible. In our lives, if we're just honest, one of the reasons we struggle to talk about Jesus is we just don't have that great of a story as far as how valuable he is to us. Our stories go something like this. I was living this way, or I was living that way, or I was a little kid, and I realized I needed Jesus, and I got saved, and I was baptized. I've been going to church ever since. That's a great first paragraph, but it's not a finished story. So how do we begin to cultivate that story? We have to find our joy in who he is. We find our joy in all that we've received from him. We find our joy every day that we wake up and we learn more as we study his word. We learn more of who he is, but we flipped it. I hear people say, I gotta study his word to get me through the day. Or let's say something like, I need a verse to get me through the day. We have to flip our thinking from, I need a verse or to get a study to get through his day, to say, no. I want to study his word so that I know him, so that I walk with him through this day. His word is not something that he just gives us as like words of wisdom. His word is giving us himself. His word is that buried treasure. His word is that great pearl of value, that pearl of great value. And he's saying, every day I want to give you myself so that you're not trying to get through your day. You're walking with me in your day. But if we don't see him as valuable, or we don't study his word in that way, then we'll get to that place of obligation. And his word, Bible verses, they become just like these meditations that if we just say them enough, hopefully we'll eventually believe it. Or like magic spells. If we say it in the right way, then it's going to work out. When he says, listen, I want to give you myself. He said, I'm your treasure. I'm this great pearl. And I want you every day to realize all that you have within me, but also you begin to grow in this understanding of who I am. You grow in this understanding of what it means to know me. And the beautiful thing is, as we understand more of who he is, then we understand more of who we are. And as we understand more of who we are, we begin to live that out. We begin to be that. We begin to believe that. We're going to believe it. And do you see the joy that just comes from knowing all we've received in him and understanding every day it's like this gift? Every year, my wife buys all my kids these boxes for Christmas. I don't remember what they're called. What's the thing where you open a gift every day like in December? All right, y'all spoke at once, and I can't. I can't hear my left ear. I got ear infection. Let's try it again. What is it called? Advent calendar. That's it. Advent calendar. Thank you. Advent calendar. And so every day, like December 1, like my daughter is so pumped about this. December 1, she's like, all right, what do we got? And she can't wait for December 2, and December 3, and December 4. Why? Every day, there's this gift to open. As interesting as an Advent calendar is, when we're walking with Jesus, every day there's this little gift that we get to open. He says, do you see who I am? Do you see who you are? And do you see what I want to do in and through you? We wake up with this anticipation, with this excitement of what's going to be the gift today. What's going to be the thing today? And here's the beauty of it. It's not a one-size-fits-all. You see, all three of my kids, they get different Advent calendars to fit them, to fit their personalities, to fit what they like. So every day they're opening these little gifts just for them. Every day, he gives this little gift. It's just for you. It's just for me. But we'll get so busy that we'll miss it. Life gets going so fast. It's like being on those merry-go-rounds. Remember that? I think they're outlawed now. It should have been a long time ago. But if your friends were jerks, as most friends are, what would they do? They get you spinning so fast that you think, I got two choices. I can get sick, or I come off this thing and break both my arms, right? We remember this well. If we're honest, it's kind of how life feels with many of us. We're going so fast. and we think, man, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. I don't know how to get off this thing. I don't know how to slow it down to get off. Here's what we have to understand, is we're in this together. And so if you're like, man, I'm going so fast, but I don't know where I'm going. I don't know, I'm going so fast, but I don't know why I'm going. I have these passions inside of me, but nothing in my life is living that out. I have these things I love, but I don't know how to be that. I want to know Jesus is more, but I don't even want to open his word and study it. And so often we give up before we start because we got questions we don't know the answers to. But that's why we need one another. That's one of the things you'll always hear from us is, listen, we're not just here on Sunday mornings and whatever nights we do small groups. We're here all throughout the week. Man, we'd love for you to come in. Be like, hey, can we just come talk through stuff? Yeah, sure. Can I tell you what I love? Yeah, let's figure it out. We're also going to ask you your 3 favorite Christmas movies because we like to know. We need each other. Maybe there's somebody else in your life you know better than us. Go to him and be like, hey, listen, man, I'm on this mirror. I cannot slow down. I don't know what to quit or how to quit it. I don't know how to make the adjustment. And I'm just living in this rhythm of life full of a whole bunch of obligations. I don't even know why I do them. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know why I'm going there. And I don't want to do this anymore. I want to live with purpose. I want to know who Jesus is, not just when I met him for the first time. I want to know him more today. And I want that to change my life. Go to him. Have that conversation. Come to us. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out together. And so it leaves us with really just a couple of questions I want to leave you with today to wrestle through. One of them is this. Why is Jesus valuable to you? Why is Jesus valuable to you? Now, if you know Jesus, it's going to start with something like this. He died for my sins, and he saved me, and I get to be with him forever. And that is a great number one. So if you know Jesus, we're going to put that in blank number one already. It's there. I want to know what comes after that. Why do you find Jesus valuable? The second thing is this, is how do you grow in a knowledge and understanding of who Jesus is? What it means is this, is how do you grow in a relationship with him? Just to give you a example, I may have used this before, but I didn't propose to my wife on the first date, right? Why? I wanted there to be a second date. I didn't propose on the first date. Why? I didn't know her. What did I do? And her, we went on the first date, and that told us just enough about each other to know that we wanted to have a second date, and a third date, and a fourth date, and so on and so forth. To the point where finally we say, let's get married. And here we are. How did we grow? We spent time together. I got to know her. She knew me. We lived life alongside of each other. We began to experience things together. And so a lot of followers of Jesus, you may read his word, but do you live it out? Is there any part of you that's living out this relationship with Jesus? When's the last time you did something with Jesus? You stepped out. The second thing is this, is going back to your design. You're gonna hear this from me all the time. This is one of my big things. Going back to your design. You've got the great pearl. You've got the buried treasure. How does that change how you live your life? How does it change how you live your life? Are there passions and things inside of you that you're like, man, I just wish I could do this. I just wish I could do that. That gets me excited. It's a great place to start. But your next statement is probably going to be something like this. But I can't make a living doing that. Or I can't do this with that. Or I got so many. It's fine. Before you start cutting yourself off at the knees, answer the question. What are the things within you that you wish that you could live out more. And here's my challenge. Before you let yourself give yourself excuses, come see us. Or somebody in a small group, someone in this church, follower of Jesus that you trust, go to them. Don't give yourself any excuses before you talk to somebody and say, here's a passion of mine. What do you think I could do with it? And let's have some fun. If you're stuck in obligation, oh man, I don't know why I come to church every week. I just do it because I'm supposed to. I don't know why I study the Bible. I just know I'm supposed to. If that's where you are, it's okay. We don't freak out. We just say, hey, that's a problem. Something's off. And let's fix it. It's all figure outable. It's all figure outable. But usually we need somebody else to help us, an outside perspective. We're here for you. I promise you. If there's somebody else you trust more than us, who could you ever trust more than us? But if there's someone you trust more than us, ask the question. Just try it. Let's see where it goes. We're going to go in this time of response. You've heard me up here. You've heard me, hopefully, from God's word today. The question now is, what one thing you're going to hold in your hand to walk out of here with today? To say, this is one thing I'm going to do. This is one step I'm going to take. Whether it be, how do I study his word better? There's a conversation I need to have. I need to look at my passions. What is it? One thing. And leave out of here committed to do it.